Oh man, that mother, I got it. I ain't even say that nigga number. For what? I'm not calling that nigga. I see that nigga next time I'm on murder. That's what I'm gonna see. You know what I'm saying? We on murder, we riding there, he there. That's what I'm gonna see. I don't want to talk to that nigga. Nigga ain't finna be around here trying to sell me no bean pies, nigga. No final calls. I'm straight. Send me a DVD of Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody know, it's like everybody saying Muhammad Ali died. You know what I'm saying? As an athlete and as an activist, as a righteous man, ain't got like hey, everybody love Muhammad Ali. Look at me. Under Armour sell t-shirts of them right now. I bet I go get me one just cause I like how they look.
Talking breezy too, but I used to like that part.
Hey, I ain't had no problem with it neither. Like I say, as a boxer and a social activist, righteous man, nigga, you was an idolater and an adulterer.
See you later.
That man was married 3 times. Matter of fact, I watched this movie, not the one with Will Smith, but the one that he played himself in. See, that's the older one.
Yeah, we don't know that.
I mean, it's before my time too. What you mean? Because I think it was before he retired, but he played himself in the movie, and you can see that, and you can see that there wasn't nothing righteous about that man. He was a whoremonger supreme.
Super.
You know what I'm saying? He was smashing everything in sight. I mean, hey, mama, like Cassius Clay, man, shoot the holes everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I knock niggas out. I'm pretty. I get money. Shoot, I get up.
And I'm a boss. I'm pretty. I'm a royal. Yeah. All of them. What's your boy?
What? Well, shoot, man, that's why he tell you, that's why the book tell you to not go after money like that, because it leads to many hurtful lusts and snares. Like, ain't nothing wrong with wanting to have it, but I done told you this before, because the more money you get, whatever you into, it open it up more. See, I wasn't in the hole to be around there tricking like that. But I would have acted a monkey fool. I'd have been the type of nigga with 2 Rolexes on. You know
On the same wrist?
on both wrists. Just because I could do it. You know what I'm saying? 600 bins. All the windows down. With a half a pound of weed on the back seat. Blowing reefer in the police face. You know what I'm talking about? Doing 120 down the light. This here like what's wrong with you? I will bond out tomorrow. Do you not know I got $300 million? I do not see you. Nigga, I will buy you and your family. You know what I'm talking about? I'm feeling like DMX, nigga, I can't be touched. Snapping, because that's how I need, because Billy, I just been acting a fool, nigga. I'm broke, I've been poor all my life. I got all this bread. I'm finna do whatever I wanna do. You know what I'm talking about? When I wanna do it. And what I want to do is wear Rolexes and smoke a whole bunch of marijuana and push exotic vehicles. And cuss the police out on sight. Man ain't even said nothing to me. F you, cracker. Where that come from?
Two that y'all for the word.
I'm just straight up like this here, walking down the street. You can't be smoking weed, tell your mama not to smoke it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just been like, you can't act like that. Why I can't? You see this right here, cracker? Bow, that's your whole salary. Nigga, I was broke and tell them crackers I pay your salary. Leave me alone. I pay taxes, sir. I pay your salary. You work for me. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell them that right now. You work for me. But get your mind right. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But for real though, somebody else in here been like, I like to get drunk. Whatever you into when you get money, it opens you up to it. The more money you get, the more you can do it. You like hoes, you tricking. You know what I'm saying? You be like this here, shoot, I don't want to talk. Oh, here 5,000, you coming with me. That's what niggas do. Niggas be like, oh, this tricking nigga. Niggas do that because they don't want to talk. They see it, they like, I got it, you coming with me. Because they know this woman sit back, unless she a woman of respect, she was like, nigga, how dare you? You know what I'm talking about? But most of them like, they said, that nigga just gave me 10. I'm not a whore. That's 10,000. She going. You know what I'm saying? She going. Because I'm saying, because we were talking about it. You put money in a nigga face, you be surprised what nigga do, boy, you put a whole bunch of money in their face. You selling the car right now, right? Say you want $25,000 for it. Nigga walk to you, probably my boy, I got $18,000 cash, and they put that $18,000 cash in your face. You be like, you know what? I really wanted 25, really bad.
I can touch that right now.
I can touch that right now. You know what they tell you now? Money talk and bovine excrement run a marathon. So That's why the adversary used that as an enticing tool. That's what they're mentioning that because you about to see that with these two sons. The things that bread is what entice. I got all this money, man. I can go over here and do this. I go over here and do this. And before you know, he spent all his money on horse. I knew I wasn't never gonna broke because that boy, they wouldn't get nothing from me. You know what I'm talking about? Not a coin. What? But I felt like this here's three things that are free. Vagina, water, and air. And I ain't paying for none of them. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt though. That's how I felt. Y'all laughing, but I'm for real though. And I done said that in public. You know what I'm saying?
No shame.
No shame.
No shame.
11 today. I'm talking about ain't paid for it. That came right up the faucet. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm the type of nigga, well, let me get that water bottle right now. Straight up. Ain't it so? Then you got nowadays, you got this here, because you ain't even gonna be really using stuff like this here. You get your something like this here. Go straight to the store, buy one of these, fill them up. I ain't paying for nothing. Right out the faucet. Well, you talking about a nigga being so hungry, nigga filling up on water. You think I'm finna go pay for some water? Nigga mad when they go in the store and gotta buy a bottle of water. It's supposed to be free. Boy, these white people could charge us for air, they'll do it.
I know in Atlanta they got.
I'm talking about the breathe.
They got breathing stations. Like you can actually go there and smell whatever scent you want to smell, and it's like pure oxygen.
I'm gonna move on from that. 11 and 8. He said, how shall I give thee up, Ephraim? How shall I deliver thee, Yasharal? How shall I make thee as Adamah, and how shall I set thee as Zeboam? My heart is turned within me, my repentance are kindled together. I will not execute the fierceness of my anger. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am Elohim and not man. The Kadesh one in the midst of thee. I will not enter into the city. I just was seeing it, brother. I don't know why he doing it. He told me I'm finna do a lesson today on where the 10 tribes went at when they went Catholic. And I'm thinking in my mind, who cares?
Everywhere.
Isaiah 11. Come on.
They everywhere.
Everywhere. All corners of the earth.
So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Where did they go? I don't know. Where the buffalo roam, I don't know.
Some buffalo bites another way.
Don't say that.
I saw a buffalo.
See, you brought your charger too? Blasted. They shall walk after Yahuwah, and he shall roar like a lion. And when he shall roar, the children shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble as a bird out of Mizraim, and as a dove out of the land of Assyria. I will place them in their houses, saith Yahuwah. Ephraim compassed me about with lies, and the house of Yasharal with deceit. But Yehuda yet ruled with Elohim and is faithful with the Kadeshim. So these is the two sons. Because remember, Ephraim went crazy. What is it? I just need to cool. Come back to Luke 15. I know I seem like I'm getting a little off track. Now you sit back and look at it, right? Ephraim ruled with lies. They ruled. When you look at the northern kingdom, how many righteous kings they had? 0. So when we look at the one son, he said the other son, what we gonna see? He said, you was with me the whole time. Ain't that what he told him? You ain't never left. Because he said, Yehuda ruled with Elohim. He faithful with the Kadeshim. Said a certain man got 2 sons. We know that Hosea 11 ain't talking about Yehuda for real. Even when we look at 1 Kings 17, he said, I got Yasharal up out of there. But Yehuda relied on the Elohim. They stayed. So when we looking at this parable, it's the parable of the two. See, then we're going to work this into what he said in John about there's 2 flocks. You know what I'm saying? Now we looking at it as a whole, as our people returning back to getting forgiveness. But then as a whole, you also looking at the whole has to be made up of what? Parts or individuals. So if we see Abba doing this with us as a whole, then we got to turn around and look at it that we do that with each other as individuals. You know what I'm saying? If one happens to get out of the way and begins to consider and say, I want to return. Just like he said in Job, he chastised him, he said, I will sin no more.
Can I go time into first fruits and you get
Not in that one there, cuz you would already have to be sprouted it right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they done hurt you. What we at, 15 and 11 again? Listen what he said, right? And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Abba, give me the portion of the goods that fall to me. and he divided unto them his living. Listen what he told the younger son. So who is the younger son then? That'd be Ephraim, one, because Yehuda older than Ephraim. Ephraim is Joseph's son. And even if you take it as just saying that Ephraim is representative of Joseph, Yehuda's still older than Joseph. So now we can actually sit back. See, this is the thing to sit back and look at, right? What we talking about, knowing the story, you can know the stories, but if you don't have no understanding, you're not gonna see that. Because he's trying to tell us something. Now what you think he say, let me get my portion of my living? What would be his portion? Look at Job 21. Look at he tell you, look at his portion. What would his portion be? We looked at Job 21 a little bit last night. Stinks. Stinks. Give me that juice. 21 and 22. Well, actually, just get on right to it. 21 and 23. Listen what he say. One died in his full strength, being wholly at ease and quiet. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones are moistened with marrow. And another died in the bitterness of his soul, and never eat with pleasure. They shall lie down alike in the dust, and the worm shall cover them. Now, what it sound like when we look at them two sons, what we looking at? We ain't went all the way down the line. You notice he say one died, he was full of everything. Another died in the bitterness of his soul, and never ate with pleasure. No, we can't say that Esau, but he ain't died in the bitterness of his soul. What I'm really talking about is in that exact parable, right? You had the one son that never left, right? You had the other son that left, and next thing you know, that man say he longing for the husk that the pigs eat. I don't know what a husk is. Somebody let me know that.
At that point, it's corn husk.
That's what I thought it might have been. Nigga looking for corn. Now we can sit back and look at that, and we can tie that into something else as well. He's looking for corn to eat. He can't find that to eat. Now you say somebody died in the bitterness of his soul. Don't y'all realize Mashiach, when he sat down, he was in the bitter. Look at Job 10 and 1 and just look at a statement of Job, man. Because remember, the master say he was exceedingly sorrowful even unto death. You think he had pleasure in his soul when he's sitting there eating with him and he about to die? See, what we sitting back looking at is this here, right? Which I'm going to work to. Death worked in the younger son. So life can work in everybody else. Death is what, that's what we sit back looking at. We can even go to Joseph and see that. Death worked in him, that life might work in others. You sit back and look at that depression that I went through, that was death working in me, that at the end, if you would sat back and look at some of the things that were taught, that life might work in you. Because sometimes it'll be something that have to suffer death and go through all that, so you don't have to. That'll be the same way if I run across a Job 10 and when I run across a little dude in the street, I can be able to give him the game of the streets and the prison system so he don't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? The master went through death so you don't have to go through that. All you got to do is just die to your flesh right now. You don't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So when we realize we don't have to go through that, then that should be able to show us that we should be able to have the mercy and compassion on those that do the same. That's why we looked at that last night in John when that woman was outside of the way. This woman got caught committing adultery. He still had compassion. He said, ain't nobody condemn you? No, man. He said, I won't either. Just don't go do that no more. He didn't condone her activity. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, hey, mercy. That's why he said those are the weightier matters. Having mercy just ain't seeing a nigga hungry or thirsty and getting his son to drink. It's even having mercy on them that's outside the way. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to get him back into it. Somebody's not pleased. You're trying to get him back into it. You know, most of the time when we deal with a lot of Hebrew, we think the best way to get somebody back into it is to crack their whole dome piece of it. You hear what most Hebrews say, cut session. I cut that nigga off. I cut him. Ain't that what I mean? Like, I cut him. I cut him with the scriptures off. He bleeding right now. Okay, but did you take that same scripture to cut him with? Did you take that same one to heal him with? Because the word will cut you, then you're supposed to turn around and heal him with it at the same token. You know what I'm saying? The truth always gonna hurt. And it's gonna tear you down when you get hit with it. Then at the same time, you can take that same. See, most people, when that truth hit them and they get tore out, that's the only part they remember. They're not gonna remember how that same word will build them back up. Because all they sitting back looking at is I'm broke down and I'm upset about that. Because sometimes you can't, when you delivering the word, you can't be passive. You can still be hard and be merciful at the same time. See, nigga want you to be passive with it. Water like this here, like, give me some baby medicine with it. Ain't no baby medicine going with this here. Come on, we got to roll. 10 and 1. My soul is weary in my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. When I was dealing with what I was dealing with, it were times where I know this man was trying to comfort my soul, and just like the book say, my soul refused it. You know what I'm saying? That's right there in the book of Psalms. He said he was seeking the comfort for my soul refused it. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and you look at that like this here after the fact, that's when it hit me. Like Trav mentioned, he like, bro, you were saying things while you were going through that's actually in the book. We don't sit back and realize that it'll be certain things you go through, it's to conform you to him. You know what I'm saying? And his sufferance wasn't no joke. How many of y'all ever felt exceedingly sorrowful even unto death? We know you have some. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, boy, you felt so sad, so despair, I want to die. I ain't talking about just thinking, I was like, take my life. How many of y'all done actually asked the man to take your life? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother level of sorrow that the average man cannot relate to. But in that weakness and that infirmity, as we done dealt with in the past, the power of Elohim is actually resting on you. You know what I'm saying? And that power right there is what people avoid, because don't nobody actually want to have to experience nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like this here. It's hard to describe. That's why when Job was talking to his friends, he said, y'all are horrible comforters. You know what I'm saying? Even when the master was on the mount with James and John and Peter, he said, man, y'all couldn't watch with me for an hour. I just told you I was sorrowful unto death. He said, go on, take your rap, man. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all couldn't even ride with me. When you look at Elijah, he said, if he felt so bad, he said, man, y'all, I'm out here by myself, man. I ain't about nothing. Just go ahead and get it over with. Because they going to kill me anyway. You know what I'm saying? You look at Paul being stoned, beat, locked up. He like this here, boy, I'd rather be dead. It's just better for me to be here with y'all. Because if it was up to me, I'd be dead. And we'll sit back and look at it like, how could you say something like that? Not realizing a lot of men in this book went through that. You had Jeremiah asking for it. You know what I'm saying? You got Job saying a man longed for death and it flee from it. You know what I'm saying? It's right here in the 3rd chapter. Swing on over there to it. I'll read it to you. Where we at on that? Yeah, they're about 20. He said, wherefore light is given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter soul. Now, thank y'all he took it that direct, because we're going to sit back there. That younger son was in misery, and his soul was bitter. Then what he said? He said he gave what to him? Life. He said why they were in misery. You know what I'm saying? When you look at misery, misery is just another synonym for somebody who's depressed. He said, which long for death, but it come not. And dig for it more than hid treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Now we'll sit back and we'll look at that different. He said they look for death like a hid treasure. Look at Matthew 13 though. That now on the natural level, you looking at something right there. This man say, boy, I long for death, it don't come. I look for it like a hidden treasure. But didn't we just hear this man say, let me get my substance so I can go? You know what I'm talking about? I'm looking for that. You know what I'm talking about? And the average nigga was like, boy, who would want to look for death like a hidden treasure? Now we look at it on with our spiritual glasses on. Yeah, you should ought to be looking for death like hidden treasures. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, somebody ain't pleased. What is 13 and 45 or 44? He said, again, the kingdom of Shamahin is like unto a treasure hid in a field. Ain't that what he said that stuff? We just hear that? Now this man asked for a substance. Now let me take it with me. The which when a man had found, he hide, and for joy thereof go and sell all that he have and buy that field. And where was the master's sepulcher at, right? In a field. And where was Adam at? In a field. And what was in that field? But 4 rivers. And what was in them 4 rivers, in the midst of them 4 rivers? The tree of life. And remember what we looked at last week? That tree in the field is for a man's life. So we looking for the treasures of light. That's what you digging for. So when we look at Romans 6:1 real fast, and all this is tying back to, he said, is it not written that should not Mashiach have suffered to enter into his esteem, and beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them the things concerning himself? So that man said back, to get these treasures, you might have to suffer misery. And so with the average person like this here, right, we done talked about it, we done went over it before, but it's a whole nother thing when you actually see it live and in front of your face. Because you think some of them men really understood what they were going through when they were going through that? And they definitely didn't know that they was going through that. They were testifying of the sufferings of Mashiach that should come after them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't had no idea about that. Because look here, right? I ain't saying to everybody, but I know niggas sit back and crazy like, nigga, you want to die. I know in y'all, man, you be like, boy, that nigga, they're tripping. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Niggas might have done, y'all might have done read what these men say they wanted to die. But it didn't resonate in your brain because you ain't never been that low to feel like that. That man say, man, look for the grave, can't find it. You know what that also means? He say, many shall seek to enter in and shall not find it. To enter into that grave, you got to walk through the straight gate. And to walk through that straight gate is tight. That means you're going to have to take the affliction, the suffering, everything come in. He said, they look for that grave, can't find it. You know how many people looking for this man's grave, can't find it? Ain't going to find it. Because the reason why they can't find it, because it's one thing they don't want to do. They don't want to die. So they'll never come to it. 6:1 though, he said, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that favor may abound? Elohim forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that as so many as were immersed into Yahushua HaMashiach were immersed into his death? Therefore we are buried with him by immersion into death, that as like Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of the Father, even so we should also walk in newness of life. For if we be planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that we should henceforth should not serve sin. And realize what he told you. There's light to them that are in misery. So the master sitting back looking at it, we know in him was the light, and the light was the life of men. Elohim is light. So when you sit back and you look at that, as the old saying go, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So those who suffer in affliction and those who going through it and all these things for the master, there's life at the end of that. But before they can get to that life, death got to be formed in them. That's the thing that nobody don't want to sit back and look at. That's why I can sit back and tell you when I sit back, I can tell that nigga don't want to do that. Because the average nigga, when they go to feeling like that, they gonna quit, bro. That's what I would tell you. If bad as nigga was, like, it wasn't no thinking on, I'm finna go back to the world. Like, go back to the world or die. I'll choose death before I go back and do that. Ain't nothing out there for me. I've been out there. Nigga, I don't want no hoes, man. I want the mask. I don't want no money, no weed. If I ain't got that, what am I here for? You know what I'm saying? That's why you sit back and you look at it, because a lot of the, like this is like, and they don't go into the thoughts of all these men, because we don't know how far these men might have went if they would have continued that. You notice each man who was like that, y'all had to do something to come on and get him, because all right now he done reached his breaking point. Because you remember Psalms say he remember our form, we are yet dust. He remembers that. Because I sit back and look at it the same way he did with Job. I'm going to let Hashatan get a run at it. Because Hashatan saying this nigga going to give up on me. He going to curse me to my face. Because that's what Hashatan say Job was going to do. Put enough on him, I bet he curse you to your face. When you look at it, it's one thing if you deal with something singular. Like I say with myself, if all them things were singular incidents, man, nigga ain't studying none of that. You know what I'm saying? You'll notice that you can perceive that y'all let that man get at you because it'll be a floodgate of things at one time. Most of the time when you got to suffer something, it's just one thing. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't have to deal with 4, 5, 6, 7 different events at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And when you deal with 4, 5, 6, 7 events, I don't care how strong you think you is. You know what I'm talking about? That's going to break you down. And then you'll get to that point. Because most of everybody that been here have been through something, but it's usually not a flood. So you can take that and keep on trucking. And you be like, okay, y'all, I'm all right, but you know, I ain't all right, but you know, man, I'll be all right. This ain't nothing serious, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been through a little something before. I can handle that. But when it comes to go to 1 and 2, and it's like, dang, I just got this. I got this, now this, now this, now this, now this, now this. You be like, man, what is this man trying to do to me? Because we got to remember, you see this here, man? This here is frail. You know what I'm talking about? It can't take that much. We done seen niggas snap with less, with no word. So when you look at stuff go to falling on your head, that's where that come in at, what I was talking about, that's what it's coming at. You know what I'm saying? Even if you see stuff falling on a nigga head and they start creeping out the way, which was I was telling y'all about that then. Because the nigga could be weak and fragile. And I ain't talking about weak and fragile as that's just them. I'm in a weak state. I'm in a fragile state. I could easily be broken. I need to be handled with care. And the thing I need is the people that say they love me and care about me and we supposed to be like this here, they're when I need them. Because if not, if a nigga drop me, I'm a shadow. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean when I sit back and say that. You got to catch. Somebody may not be weak, but you can get weak. That don't mean they weak. Everybody can become weak. That don't mean you weak. You can be in a weakened state. And when you in a weakened state, you are open to anything.
Whoever's gonna need the comfort, that's where you go.
That's where you gonna go. That's where you gonna go. If Hashatan can pop up and present something that's gonna give you comfort, you gonna go for that. Because that's what you looking for. You know what I'm saying? So if we the people of Elohim and you see your brother, your sister in a weakened state, you got to be the one to get them comfort. You can't let Hashatan be the one to slide in, because then they can get ensnared in the trap before they know it. They locked in like this here. You can't let that happen. She said, I'll do it again too. Come on back to Luke 15. I might not even get to what I had these up here. Look at 12, right? Again, so the younger of him said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that fall to me. And he divided unto them his living. So you can sit back the goods that fall to me, divided unto him his living. According to the Torah, what you think that could be? Think about divide. Divide is what I want you to focus on. He said, divide unto me my living. So when we think about the Torah,
Genesis 1.
not just Genesis 1, because sit back and look at divide and living or inheritance. Give me what's mine. So when we think about the law, what did he do with each tribe? He divided their inheritance according to their families. And obviously, you know, Joseph or Ephraim got a bigger division.
Two of them.
Cause you know what I'm saying? But also because it was 10 tribes attached. Like he had already had it set up, they were gonna split because he already knew they were gonna split. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, we explained to that man, remember when we preached about that white man sin? Because not only did they ask me about that, but somebody else asked me about that. You know what I'm saying? He made man upright. Remember, we went through that. It wasn't that y'all did anything wrong. Man opened that door up. Why? Because man made a decision of y'all gave you the choice to pick his mind
That's
or
what
your
he's saying.
mind.
He's saying that's what they was arguing. Like, why give him two choices? Just make him do this. I was like,
What it
Because
is?
there's something greater. Why would you?
But see, that's the reason being is I don't want to take responsibility for my actions.
yeah, actually, I told him that's just to prove how wicked you are.
At the end of the day, when a man say, I'm be honest with you, it's a reasonable question. It's also the hallmark of an unbelieving mind at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying? At the same time, in the same token. I don't mean the person may not believe, but it's a sign that the unbelief resides there. Because I ain't never asked that question to myself. Why he ain't just make us not do that? That's never run through my brain. It's a reasonable question.
You already got things created to just worship them, which are the angels or King. You want something that wants to love. You get what I'm saying? That's something that's made.
Indeed, but see, he didn't even express that there. But niggas don't sit back and realize is.
Got that from Christian.
Where's who?
Christian.
Like I said, but you ain't even got to get it from the Christian church, because you can get it from 1 Chronicles 28. He said, have a ready and willing mind. I would rather you want to do it. See, the one thing about it is you want somebody who want to love you, not somebody who forced to love you.
Period.
Somebody who forced to love you is not doing it out of
That's
genuineness of
how
their
I say,
heart.
all right, you go out there and get a female out there that's remedial, that can't understand nothing. All she do out there is love you. And you marry her. And you say, hey, you gonna do it.
All of them say they ain't gonna do it.
You gonna do it.
Ain't none of them gonna do it. You get a woman like this here, you gonna do everything I say because I said you gotta do it, not because you wanna do it. After a while, you gonna get tired of it. I mean, y'all remember that episode of Fresh Prince when he had that dream and he would like to say he had the perfect family and his wife did everything for him and all this shit. And he got mad. He said, man, I want a fly girl with bamboos in her hair. Extensions, at least 2 pairs. He was going on because everything that he wanted her to do, she did it.
I just think about coming to America, anything that you.
Yeah, that same thing too though. But that same thing too though, because like Will Smith on that episode say, I want an argument. I want a pillow out of place. I want this, I want that. See, everybody wants something that quote unquote perfect. But in actuality, what you come up with perfect over time, you will begin to despise it because it's artificial.
It's not real.
It's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. That's why we were talking about the other day, right? Like I said, you would say you ain't necessarily had no full-blown arguments, but at least disagreement. You with a nigga, ain't no disagreements, no arguments, no nothing. Something about that ain't right. You can't, man, I wouldn't care, brother or sister, whatever. Boy, you round somebody enough, boy, that nigga gonna get on your nerve. You gonna say something to this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Never. Boy, who done had a sibling ain't snapped on a nigga? Man, I'm talking about, boy, I used to torment her, just do little stuff just to make her mad. Leave me alone! Trying to scratch my whole face out when she was little.
I can believe that. It's not far-fetched.
Yeah, just do stuff to aggravate her. You know what I'm saying? You do stuff like that. That's your sibling. Just to see how mad they get. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But you gonna tell me you round a nigga 24/7, 365? You know what I'm talking about? And you don't argue with this nigga? Boy, I'm talking about, boy, the book even tell you, at least not in here though, about boy don't run down a nigga house. He say, lest a nigga get tired of seeing you. You know what I'm saying? The Papa mentioned that. Nigga know that, hey, I can't even argue with that. That's real life. That real time, I can't even argue with that there. You be around a nigga tired of too much. You be around a nigga too much, boy, this nigga don't get out my face. Nigga, I ain't talking about on something, I just want me some me time. Like, boy, that nigga say one more word, I'm gonna cuss this nigga out. No more. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up though. That's just being honest though. I wouldn't care how much, that don't mean you don't love them. But nigga like this here, I never want to not be away from my kid. Nigga, stop lying. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, stop lying. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga like this here, boy. Nigga, you on the phone like this here. Mama, you wanna come get your grandkid? You calling up aunties, uncles, cousins, no, come get these niggas. Cause I'm finna kill them. That don't mean you don't love your children. Somebody come get them. I bet little mother wouldn't be mad. I pulled up and say, boy, you want me to come get the kid, take him to the park? Yeah, come get them niggas. Don't come back for 3.5 hours. Nigga say, what you gonna do with 3.5? I don't know. I can't remember what I had 3.5 hours. I'll figure it out. Just come get them niggas. It don't matter what it is. Just come get them. Matter of fact, keep them for the whole day. She wasn't like that when Leah was first born, because the first time she let her spend the night to the house. Well, little mother like this. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Literally.
Son, just coming in.
I'm talking about literally, me and Dale like this. What's going on? The mother at the door. I miss my baby. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. What you thought we were gonna do? Flush it out the toilet. Hey, I'm talking about she was there early in the morning, sitting there looking at the door. Where is my baby? But guess what though? That's when she was a baby. Right now, come get that nigga. I bet she won't be at the front door 6 o'clock in the morning. You gonna be like this here? You done pulled up. I thought you were gonna be home. Shoot. All I said is ding dong, the baby's dead. I'm gone. I'm out of here. But that's just being honest though. I don't care. Cause I mean that's just the reality that you gonna clash with the people you love eventually.
And it's how you respond to relationships.
That's just how you respond to it when it happens. That's usually where the stuff come in at, is the response. You know what I'm saying? It's the response to the clash. It's the response, like what we talking about last week. A lot of the stuff that me and her used to argue about, it wasn't what we were arguing about. It was either her tone or my tone. You know what I'm saying? That's really, because sometimes it was my tone. Sometimes it was hers. You know what I'm saying? And that's where something that was really like this ended up getting like this. You know what I'm saying? That's all that be about, is really just tone and response. That's what we have to remember what the words say, a soft answer, turn away wrath. We have to remember that.
What you say is how you say
That's it, you just have to remember that. Because that's how molehills get made in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? When we can master, because the book tell you, the tongue is unruly, can't no man tame it. Look how you looking at the food. Get your cousin. Get your cousin. Come on back to Luke 15, man. Get your cousin.
This eggplant look good.
It really does.
I'm talking about, and the thing is, I just ain't want to say nothing. He been eyeing that food for 15 minutes. You seen it through this? That's why Darius laughing like that.
That just looks good. I grew it. It's homegrown.
15-13.
I gotta get out. This nigga homegrown.
After we look at 15-13 to Luke, come on around there and get 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1. That nigga, that's crazy.
That's good right there.
Luke 15-13. Yeah.
It's a little different.
This is what he say. And not many days after, the younger son gathered together, all together, took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. Well, sit back and look at it, right? He say he took his substance and went to a far country. 1 Kings chapter 17. Because I told you last night I was going to go ahead and precept it, right? So we got to go ahead and precept it.
It's an acquired taste. It's an acquired.
Look how my dog looking, man. Look how he looking.
See, because that's used to that Walmart. Like, you gonna, nigga growing something out of his house, bro. That's
You gonna do my dog like that? You gonna do my dog like that? Somebody used to that Walmart, like.
That's just not the way that public so many
Yeah, it's certain parts that are better. Like, it's
But that's still just because you cooked it. That time was good because you cooked it.
2 Kings 17, my apologies. But 1 Kings 17 did not have what I was looking for.
we gonna be eating that in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying?
See, we ain't gonna be eating that in the wilderness, both sides wilderness. We gonna be eating that at the house, nigga.
What?
We ain't gonna speak on that in public, though.
You said second king?
Yeah, it was 2 King.
You said we ain't gonna speak on the public?
Yeah, he know what I'm talking about.
Corey?
We'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't speak on that in public.
Oh, I lost. I was trying to do it.
No, he was talking about soon we gonna be eating that in the wilderness. I say in the wilderness, then we gonna be eating that at the house. You
We gonna be home when it's time to do that.
know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about shoot before we leave from here. Nigga, things go right. Right to the house. I'm talking about who, nigga? Them fresh rutabagas right there, nigga.
Rutabagas.
Fresh rutabagas. Nigga say, where you caught them from? Nigga say, don't you worry about it, nigga. They go for $6.99 a pound. Nigga, $6.99. $6.99.
If you know what you're doing, you can grow one that is a pound.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'll know this here. I won't be out there with you.
You get 8 million seeds.
Man, I'll be out there with you.
Me and they were talking about 8 million seeds.
I'll be out there.
for
You know, I can tackle a
$9.
whole field too. I'm about that.
8 million seeds for $9.
I'm about that.
Hey,
Me and my, I'm about
2 Kings 17 and 15. 14. 2 Kings 17 and 14. He said, notwithstanding they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the necks of their fathers that did not believe in Yahuwah, their Elohim. They rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and his testimonies which he testified against them, and followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them that they should do not like to them. Bam, something just came to my head. Now we would just sit back and look, lately, right? Now we you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be some time probably in the future where we'll just get busy, write out their pistol letters. And sometimes we'll get busy with the combination of both. But right now, we're just gonna get combination with straight Torah and Tanakh just to prove what we're looking at in Luke 15. Now, just something just came to my mind, right? It said that they divide, he said, let me get my substance, right? Divide my substance to me, right? Now, he divided our substance to us in the land, right? Then he say he went into a far country. This is why we came to 2 Kings 17 for, because we look at a far country, that's being scattered. That's your captivity right there. You know, in Jeremiah, he say, don't cry for him. I forget what it was. He say, cry for him that won't see his home country again. You know what I'm saying? You just sit back and look at it. You ought to be weeping and crying because you ain't home. You know what I'm saying? Dead serious though. You know what? When you see somebody get out the way, you ought to be weeping and crying because y'all do when he see his children sit back and get outside the way. That saddens his soul. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say if you see if a sinner, if it's one be out the way and one convert him, that's why I'm telling you about having that mercy. Because when you convert him, you're not covering sins for you covering their sins. And you already know what the book say the Malachim and Shamahim do at one sinner that repent. They rejoice. This is the will of Abba that men repent. So we're supposed to make forth every effort to move someone to repent. You know what I'm talking about? Not moving to feel like this here, right? A nigga ought to be shamed for doing wrong, period. You know what I'm talking about? Like, period. Once a nigga then did that there, like y'all remember when that incident went down, them niggas was getting loose and busy and all that there. Nigga got it one time. That was it. We ain't say nothing about it after that one time, did we? Ain't no need to say nothing about it after that. You don't have to keep hitting them across the head with it every week. They already done it. You know what I'm saying? They done been reproved. That's over with. You know what I'm talking about? Now they keep doing it, then that's a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get them the space to show, okay, they ain't gonna do that no more. Cause that's how y'all operate. That's what that favor all of, okay, you got a chance to correct that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna kill you yet. But test me and I'm gonna kill you. And then we can look at being killed as this. It's killing your mind to walk in righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all don't even sit back and know, right? We've been talking about it. The prayers of a righteous man avail much. Nigga don't be knowing, it's certain people be praying for you, and you be wondering why you don't fail and you don't lose, because somebody praying for you who y'all accept. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't even know it. And sometimes niggas take it for granted when they tell them, well, I pray for you regularly. Nigga don't even sit back and realize, if somebody telling you, I'm taking time out my day to actually go to Elohim for you. How many niggas sit back and look at a nigga go out their way to do natural things for you? Niggas sit back and look at, it was in my heart to go pray to the Most High Yah, the power of all the Ras and Shamahim, so he could do something for your soul. You know, people in the world say that stuff, but that really mean a lot when somebody actually remember to pray for you. That mean they actually care about your soul. And that's the most greatest form of love anybody got. I care where your soul rests. Because a lot of people don't care where your soul rests. You know what I'm saying? I care where your soul rests. That's what's important to me. Most people, that ain't important to nobody. You have niggas like niggas take, boy, pray for me. And something, nigga already pray for you. Like, niggas shouldn't even ask you to pray for them. If you deal with them and you know, how should a nigga have to? Now, you know, sometimes you dealing with something, you be like, man, pray for me. You know what I'm talking about? But it ain't even that there, just because that's just natural. You know what I'm saying? You be like, man, just pray for me. But you would hope when somebody say that to you, like, nigga, I already pray what you mean. Nigga, I already pray for you. I understand why you asked me, but nigga, I already pray for you. You ain't gotta ask me to do that. You know, them people that came to me like, bro, you'll pray for me, bro. I'm like, nigga, I already pray for you, nigga. 3 times a day to be specific. You know what I'm talking about? Like everybody in this room, 3 times a day, save him because I don't know him. I do it after the day. Real talk though. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. I'm talking about everybody in this room, every day, 3 times a day. And ain't none of y'all never asked me to do it. You know what I'm talking about? For what? What you gotta ask me for? And like I told him, sometime I've been up praying for you and your name come back in another time. I told him at that time I done prayed for him and his name come back up 2, 3 more times. So we hit him off 2, 3 more times. Dead serious though, that's no exaggeration. He ain't the only one. It been people who niggas think I don't like or got a problem with, they name done came out here. I'm pray for him. I don't know why he put it there, but I'm gonna do it though. You know what I'm saying? Because I know y'all done heard that nigga told I ain't want to pray for him, but if I don't want to pray for it, I just ain't gonna do it. You can bet that. You know what I'm talking about? You can bet that. Wow. They're being dead real with you. I'm saying you can bet. If I don't want to pray for you, I ain't praying for you. You know what I'm talking about? Well, if I pray for you, that means I care about you. Whatever you think about it. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, that means I want your soul to live. Like I just don't pray for this miscellaneous people. That man say he don't pray for the world. He say don't pray for this people for their good. You know what I'm talking about? So that means if I make mention of you, that means I care about you. And if he put your name in my head to do it, I don't know why he put your name there, but I'm gonna do it. Maybe you my enemy. Maybe you not. Maybe it's something that, hey, I want you to ask this on their behalf. Maybe I won't answer it. Maybe I just want to see if you'll do it. You know what I'm talking about? But that's why I told you that a couple weeks ago. All y'all should be praying for each other without nobody asking you to do it. You should already be doing it. I'm talking about not just say, oh, the congregation of the city. I'm talking about by name. You don't realize when they were Moors, but you know how long my prayers used to be? Because I mentioned everybody by name. Ain't no just look out for all the people.
So it's a difference between like saying it by name and just saying, oh, well, I pray for my friend and family.
Yeah, because then you being specific. You asking something specific that pertains to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like when the master say, I know my sheep by name.
That's how I find myself.
Yeah, I mean, because that's just natural, because 9 times out of 10, that's what, because it just be broad and general, and you feel like this, but it's always somebody you mention by name, even you say friends and family, even to your friends and family. You be like, yeah, but look out for my homeboy such and such, though. Look out for my mama, though. You know what I'm saying? Because when you mention them by name, that means you directly petitioning Yahuwah for this person. You know what I'm saying?
And then it feel like when I'm praying, it feel like I be more focusing on myself. Not like really nobody else. That's why I just kind of throw in family.
And see, now when you had to sit back and look at, when you go to make a supplication to Yah, you should be more asking for spiritual things or things like I said, 'cause I know somebody right now that probably think when I pray for them, I'm praying for something else, but really I'm only praying for their soul. The other stuff don't even matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time when I go pray, I don't even ask for nothing. Other than staying in the way, a word for the week, keep my mind, and pray for my people. You know what I'm saying? Or anything that you done led me to do, that you allow your mercies and increase to be on it, if that's what you so choose. You know what I'm saying?
So you saying you praying on not the flesh, but anything that happens to you after the flesh?
Yeah, I'm praying for spiritual things. Just like he said, just like when we looked at what Solomon did. He asked for wisdom. He ain't asked for no money or his enemies or women or wives or nothing. He said, give me an understanding heart that I might discern between right and wrong, that I might execute judgment. You know what I'm saying? I pray for the things that pertain to that, because all that other stuff, he give it to you, as long as you stay faithful. And if he don't give it to you, you'll get it in the end when you enter the kingdom, so it don't make no difference. You're going to get it either way. You can get it now, you get it later. So regardless of what, I say, man, because like I said, they know it used to be way more than this here, but some niggas want to do what they want to do. And I mentioned all them by name and the children. You know what I'm saying? Like by name, and it'd be sometime, boy, I would have to pause to make sure, like, dang, I forgot such and such. You know what I'm saying? Everybody by name. Because you want to sit back to know that I want you to move on this person's behalf, if it be your will. Because we got to remember, we can pray for stuff, but it's got to be Yah's will. You can ask for something, that don't mean he going to do it. If it's not according to his will. If it's according to his will, he going to do it.
So, like say I ain't say but I was praying for something, and I felt like I got it from him, but I felt like he gave it to me, and when I got it, I didn't do right by it, so he kind of used it as a lesson, like.
Well, you sit back and look at me, if you ain't living right, he ain't heard you no way. You know what I'm saying? That's just a book. You know what I'm saying? People sit back and they tell us that, like you could get something, you could get something, it could just be time and chance. You know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, he might be like, you know what, go and give it to him. Just to see how you gonna react, because it might be something he can use to get you into his way. You know what I'm saying? Because really it ain't even about what you was asking for, what you thought you would get. It's about, I'm finna use this, that when the time come, my word get presented to this person, they gonna do what I say. They'll accept me. Like, when I first read John 9:31 say he don't hear the prayers of sinners, it made common sense to me, because when I didn't do what my mama told me to do, I didn't get what I asked for. So why would I expect Abba and Shamahin to do anything different? Because I'm looking at it, he always classified as a father-son relationship. No father is going to reward a disobedient child, because that will reinforce disobedient behavior. You know what I'm saying? Only white people raise their kids like that. Be dead honest. I'm talking about when we talking about now, we know niggas do it now, but I'm talking about when you sit back, the framework of how people set up and how we operate and work, we don't operate like that. You know what I'm saying? They operate, well, Billy, you didn't clean your room, do nothing I say, but I'm gonna get you this anyway, Billy. Billy's in here in the store acting a fool. You know what I'm talking about? You got black people sitting here, I'm finna slap this little white baby. But over time, because you got children having children, that's why our people have deteriorated into that, because you got less mature people having children.
Just the integration of our people.
The integration too, but even with the integration, we wasn't doing that. But once you got immature people having children, that's how that occurs. We wasn't raising our kids like that.
We got into regular society, it still was like that.
It was, but now you got a 16-year-old girl having a baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that happens. You know what I'm saying? But when you sit back and think about it, right, it don't make sense to reward you on doing wrong, right? Because what you gonna learn from that? But to continue to do wrong. So y'all don't teach that way. But the world make us believe that he teach that way. Let's look at this 2 Kings 17. We gotta get out of here. He's saying they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, his testimony which he testified against them. They followed vanity, became vain, went after the heathen that they were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left the commandments of Yahuwah the Elohim, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of Shamahim, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah to provoke them to anger. Therefore Yahuwah was very angry with Yasharal and removed them out of his sight. And there was none left but the tribe of Yahuwah. There was none left but the older son. The older son is Yahusha. It was none left. Yasharal, the younger son. But see, he say how he divided his inheritance, and he say he spun it up on riotous living, right? Go to Proverbs chapter 5. That would have came to my head. I'm finna crank it up a notch, so y'all bear with me. Because we got to finish that whole parable. But I said I was going to go like this here. Ain't nobody never looked at it like this here. Because we look at stuff and we miss it. But the man really telling us something. Because what this man went off and did, because we went after the heathen. And we want to do what the heathen do. You know what I'm saying? And then we end up giving up all our substance to people who don't deserve it. Proverbs 5, verse 4. Man, go ahead and look at verse 1, man. I just got to work my way down to it because I can't even neglect all of this. He say, my son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thy ear to my understanding, that thou may regard distraction, that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. See, that's what a sinner do. Sinner come down, boy, them words is smooth, sweet. They feel real nice like. They ensnare you and trap you quicker. That's how Satan come, man. Entice them with nice words. Smooth words. Stuff make you feel real good. That's why I was mentioning that there. You get outside the way, and you looking for comfort from your people, and somebody coming through, Hashatan gonna send somebody with a smooth, confident word. It's gonna be all right. It's like this here, and you feel like, I know y'all sent them to me because I'm getting this comfort, I'm getting this, that, there, and the third, and it was a snap. You know, that's where wisdom come in at. But when you telling that person that, they're not going to want to hear that. Because they thinking you on some other type time. That's how Yasharal always been when we caught up in the midst of our flesh or the midst of our sin or desire. He say, for the end, her end is bitter as wormwood and sharp as a two-edged sword. Again, that's not considering the end of the matter. That's all. We don't never consider the end. Like we read last night. Oh, if they would consider the latter end. Oh, if they were wise and consider the latter. We don't get into situations and be like, you know what? How will this end? How will we know how this ends? Because we're going to measure it by the word. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's been situated we done discussed, like looking at the word, like, oh, we can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we can see how it's going to end. It ain't much that I done mentioned, like, boy, it's going to end just like this, that it didn't end like that, did it? And you know why? I'm not that smart. I'm not a prophet or none of that there. It's measuring the word. I know how this going to end. How I'm going to know this going to end? Because those that are full age take strong meat. Why they deal with strong meat? Only because by reason of use. You know what I'm talking about? And each one of y'all should have that ability to do that. Because we were just talking about that other day, the ability to discern, right? That means reason of use. The more you use the word, the easier it is for you to discern. The less you use the word, the harder it is for you to discern. Because that means you a baby. And there got to come a period of time. You shouldn't be listening to no word to be no baby. That's why I say after a while, I feel like y'all should be able to listen or peep that somebody don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to tell just by reason of use and knowing the word, like, oh, yeah, that reminds me of such and such. Oh, that's a Nabal. You know what I'm saying? But Nabal just means somebody who's a fool or just contrary. Oh, that's a Saul. Or this, that, there, and the third. You can see that behavior. That's why I say the scriptures are aforetime were written for our learning. So we learn and know certain things. Then what he said, her feet go down to death, her steps take hold of hell. Lest thou should ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, thou cannot know them. He say, unless you consider the way of Yah, you're not gonna know what you're getting into. That's what the younger son was not paying attention to. He didn't realize, I just want my substance. I want to do what I want to do. You feel what I'm saying? Now look at the next thing he said. Hear now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her. Come not nigh to the door of her house. Don't even come near. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. And where will we end up seeing this young man at in Luke 15? Where we going to find him at? In the house of a stranger. And where do we find ourselves at right now? in the house of a stranger. And why we in the house of a stranger? Because we want to follow the ways of the heathen. That's why he told us not to be messing with unbelief. That's why he told us all this stuff and not fooling with sin. The wealth is the word. Remember these treasures that a man looking for? The treasures is the Ruach HaKodesh. It's the word. It's the things of Shamahim. And you giving them over to a stranger. What is a stranger? A heathen. What is a heathen? A sinner. An infidel. What agreement does a believer have with an infidel? Ain't that what 2 Corinthians chapter 6 say? So you had to sit back and look at that. You gonna give your wealth to a stranger? This man just gave you an explicit instruction not to do this. We'll look at that statement and be like, man, that ain't no big deal. Then you realize you sinning. That's what he mean, boy. This way is real tight. Real tight. And the little things that we consider not to be damning to your soul can be. Because he's telling you what's gonna happen. This thing like a two-edged sword. This gonna kill you. He said, lest thou give thy honor unto others and thy years unto the cruel. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth and thy labors be. He said, and thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and thy body are consumed. Ain't that what we finna read about to do? But listen to the next thing he said. Oh, how I have hated instruction and my heart despised reproof. And I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me. I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Drink waters out of thy own cistern and running waters out of thy own well. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad and rivers of waters in the street. Let them be only thine own and not strangers with thee. Now we'll deal with that something else because it's talking about the master like he done switched to what he talking about. But basically like they said, man, keep your stuff to yourself. That's what you seen with the older son that didn't leave. Listen what he told you again now. Drink waters out of thy own cistern and running waters out of thy own well. It's kind of like what Samson mama said to him. Why you can't pick a woman out your own people? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to mess with these sinners? You know what I'm talking about? And that's what we supposed to look at. Why would I want to be joined to a sinner? I'm talking about in any capacity. Because eventually you're going to give your esteem. How you going to give your esteem under them? Because you're going to start conforming to their ways and doing. You're going to conform to sin. And your honor is Mashiach. He said, he that honor me, my Father honor. So when you start fooling with them, you start giving your honor to them. That's why he say he divided up his living with riotous living. Who got it? The Gentiles got it, didn't they? Who got our riches? Now these crackers running around here with this here trying to prop it off like it's theirs. You know what I'm talking about? They done took our riches, running around here with it. And what we want to do, give it to strangers. This ain't talking about they can't be saved or can't get the ruach. This sitting here talking about you done gave your stuff over to them because you want to do what they do and be where they at and all this type of stuff. Now you done messed up. 1 Peter 4:1 though. And you notice the key thing he said? How we hated I hated reproof. I didn't listen to none of my teachers. Hard-headed. Because you know what ends up, because I'm going to tell you how the carnal mind works. When I say carnal, just the human mind, period. If the carnal mind wants something, this is why he say deliver thee from evil. And then when we look at evil, it's that rod, that's that rod. What's this? It's the head, right?
Rod's the head, but then the IN is eye.
So you sit back and look at it. Those that are evil, evildoers, they basically hate the head that's on high. Because look what it say, evil deeds, thoughts, adversity, calamity, distress, bad, all these things. And what it come down to, I hate the head that's on high. That's what I hate. Be full of light. But if it be full of darkness, then great is that darkness. Because you full of evil thoughts and deeds. That's why he say, deliver us from me. You want this man to deliver you from that evil mind and give you his mind. See, that's what that younger son had. He had an evil mind. That's what you're looking at with Yasharah. They had an evil mind. Yehuda sat back and said, we will remain faithful. You know what I'm saying? Which ends up, when you sit back and you look at it, they end up being clean and pure. We get that another day. But they ended up being wicked. And what we got is here again? We got the head, the one in the middle.
Shin is like a mouth for the teeth.
You know what I'm saying? So you sit back looking at,
Or destroy.
you talking about the head that destroys the eye. Who gonna be the one that destroy the eye? But Hashatan. How does he destroy your eye? Because it's things that you look upon with your eye begin the things that you begin to lust after. He say, remember he said, don't look upon a woman with lust. If you do, you committed adultery. You know what I'm saying? When do you begin to covet and desire things, when your eye begins to see them? So that's when he's sitting here telling you to deliver you from it, because what your eyes see end up becoming your thoughts. And what your thoughts be end up becoming your actions. And what your actions be end up becoming sin. And what sin end up becoming is death. And that's how you end up being wicked, guilty of sin. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened with the younger son. I want to go bald. I'm looking at all this stuff here. Man, I'm ready to get out of here. And then when you got a mind like that, you go to thinking, I don't care what my teachers say. Because I feel like my teachers is trying to prohibit me from something I want. I feel like they got a motive on why they saying this here. When the motive is, you're going to hell. I don't want that to happen to you. But when you're not thinking in that fashion, you're going to look at it differently. That flesh is something serious now. It's something serious now. 1 Peter 4:1. He say, for as much then as Mashiach have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of Elohim. For the time past our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revilings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. When they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. See, I'm going to tell you something, right? Because this is what a sinner go do. You go to fooling with a sinner, right? You were doing all that stuff with them, and you go to cut them off, they go to talking greasy about you. They go to talking greasy about you because it's to guilt you into coming back to commit sin. You know, I done said it before, I'll say it again. If a nigga consent to sin, you do not love them. You know what I'm saying? If you see your people doing something out the way and you remain silent, you do not love them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to say something. You don't have to say it every time you see them. You know what I'm talking about? But you like, hey, you know you out of pocket, right? And what you mean? Like, you know what you're doing, you know that's wrong, right? Yeah, I'm just letting you know. And that's the end of it. You got to keep telling them. But you at least got to warn them. Now, this is not like a section with the watchman, because everybody here ain't no watchman. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Hebrews love to say that, I'm a watchman blowing a trumpet. The blood ain't going to be on my hand. You know what I'm saying? No, nigga, you got a commandment that tell you don't suffer no sin on your neighbor. So you don't have to use the watchman. You just been given a commandment. Don't let sit there and watch your people slip. Don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Well, you better put that weed down, boy. Just like they say, I ain't even realized that when we was in the store. I seen them shoes, but it didn't click that this nigga had Nikes on. You know what I'm talking about? Then I'm like, nigga, you better get them shoes. That nigga say, man, nigga, I wouldn't make a working penny loafers, nigga. Can't go to hell about no shoes. You know what I'm talking about? But it's the fact, dog, how you gonna look at that, see that, and be like, boy, that nigga on Nike, boy, he going to hell. You don't say nothing. You don't say nothing. You gotta at least pull his tail. Now what he do after that, that's up to him. You know what I'm saying? But at least, boom, I done said it. Cause I care about you. I see, it's like they said, you is not finna sit back and, if one of y'all little cousins or brothers would have run up on you like, boy, I just got that sack, boy. Boy, nigga just blessed me with 2.5 of them things, boy. You gonna look at that nigga like, boy, you going to prison. You ain't got no problem looking him in the face and be like, you going to prison. The only time we don't really want to tell people stuff because you don't want them to get upset with you. But when it come to the truth, your feelings don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put them feelings, nigga feelings just gonna be hurt. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's all just how you come at them. Once I tell you like this here, man, boom. I'm telling you, I was talking to nigga told me something, they were like, so what you gonna say? Say? I ain't gonna say nothing. Nigga, you already know it's wrong. I ain't gonna tell you that. But the fact that you was waiting for me to say something, you already know it's wrong. You just automatically knew I was finna go in. Yeah, go in for what? You already know it's wrong. Why would I say something? But that's showing you condemning yourself in your own mind. You convicted in your own mind. And when that happens, you need to do something about it. Don't run from it, get right. Because that flesh will take you down. And if you're not careful, y'all will let you stay like that. That's why we've been taught, you got to be careful with that. That's why say something to your people. Don't let them just carry it because you don't want them to get turned over to no reprobate mind. You sit back looking at, and I could have said something too. You don't know if you saying something like, hey man, you messing up, boy. Could have been what recovered. You know what I'm talking about? You don't even know. But because you feel like, shoot, that nigga know better. It don't even matter if they know better. Man, you need to tighten up, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Well, if I were to walk around here with a doob in my hand, boy, somebody would be like, boy, what you got going on? How did you even find that? Like, I don't even know where to buy weed from no more. Who?
Nah, but you unplug, bro.
Man, I don't know none of them niggas around there.
I know niggas buy say.
Man, when I'm talking about go to buy, nigga ain't talking about that old stuff get you shot. So who got the weed, bro? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about niggas sitting back looking at it like, nigga, I know where to go get it from.
That good.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, nigga know like this here boy, like, hey, who got the weed? Shoot, nigga, come on.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even know where to get no weed from. People coming up, you know where to get weed at? Nigga, do I look like I smoke, do you?
Yes.
I look like I smoke.
Your eyes always red.
Because I got bad eyes, cuz.
I don't think you might be tired. Mine always red.
Man, I might just have a headache. But come on back to little
Raw
15.
honey.
Mine
No.
got something to do with that douchebag part too.
No, I got it. Like this here, it might got something to do with that,
Can't resist.
you know what I'm saying? Like this here. And I'm gonna stay with the Mike Tyson, nigga. Yeah, cause my hair's growing back. He don't put it in that long. He ain't even gonna do that though. We might let him grow one more season and then he gotta start trimming him cause my hat's starting not to fit. No, no, that's got that hair.
Cranium.
I know some of you niggas ain't talking. Some of you niggas got some circumferences going on.
Hey, I got a box. I already know it, you know?
Just let that be known. Some niggas got some circumferences going on in here.
You shit me right. Shit.
So we at about verse 14. This nigga here. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land. He began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. Now, you already know we mentioned that last night. There was a famine. Amos 8 and 11. See, you understand, son? Niggas go to getting outside. See, you was there with the word. Then you wanted to leave. Now you done sat back and look at, now there's a famine. Not a famine for bread, but a famine for hearing of the words of Yahuwah. Now you sitting back looking at him hungry. But what you think of when you hear he joined himself to a citizen of that country and he sent him in the fields to feed swine? What you think about it? In the Torah. I ain't gonna go to it, but in the Torah. Because now you done did something right. Now you ain't clean. And we got the covenant right. That's the, man, I keep forgetting. My mind getting bad. What that one had?
Okay, hey,
Yeah.
what, like the whole word?
No, I'm talking about the, what it,
Oh, hey, or like an open window.
you know, like this. So we talking about the covenant that's open to the head. That's what happened when you clean. When he's sitting there feeding swine, you think he clean?
Continual stable.
What he told Ezekiel we would do. He said you'll eat defiled bread in a defiled place. So what is he turning around doing? He defiled in an unclean land. See, this parable is a lot more to it than we actually get credit for, right? So what you think that mean when he sit back and he say, he joined himself to a citizen of that country and began to feed swine? Out the Torah. I narrowed it down. Leviticus. Because if he joined to the citizen, what is he now? Not a harlot. He's a slave or a servant. What does Leviticus 25 tell us what happens? We supposed to be able to go what? Redeem your kinsman, right? You know what I'm saying? So when you turn around and you looking at it, because I done went, like this here, I have sold myself into bondage now.
You know what I was thinking about when you joined to that citizen, I was just thinking about Lot joining the Sodom and Gomorrah and then he got out.
I mean, you can go with that too. Only difference was with Lot though, he just didn't go there to sin.
Yeah, I know.
But at the same token, in that particular instance, he wasn't thinking, he wasn't feeding no swine. But he was in an unclean place, joined to these people. You know what I'm saying? So when we sit back, when we look at it though, when we look at it, we become a slave. What do he say? He that commits sin is the what? Servant to sin. You commit sin, you in a perpetual state of uncleanliness. Now you've been joined to the citizen of this country or in the land in sin. You joined to Satan now. You his bondman, you his servant. And all you doing is you fiending for that bread. Cause that's what he finna say right now, right? And he would have filled his fame, had filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, you heard what he said? When he did what? Came to himself. You know what that means? He heard the word, he considered. That means the Father gave him a mind to repent. He said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? Huh? He said, how many, so who are these hired servants that got enough bread to spare?
The people that's called by his name.
Think about it now. What is the bread? So who was hired servants here? His preachers. You know what I'm saying? That's his preachers. So he said back looking at how many hired servants, because guess what, right? Remember how he talked about this? This nigga got a tub full of water.
What?
Look at this man standing and jumped up like this here.
I That's my second favorite food, bro.
That nigga, he got a whole tub though. And Corey looking at y'all niggas getting a little comfortable with my wife.
Oh, I thought it was.
Every week I bring some. It's just gonna ask.
But nobody ever seen you pull that out, sir, because that's the first time I ever saw
That's a
that.
whole tub, bro. Like it's a feast.
And I would appreciate it for pieces
No, it's
left
actually
around for
only
me.
part of the watermelon.
I don't care what part it is. I just like a piece.
And it's got seeds. Seeds are good. You can't eat
I would not eat
Yeah.
the seeds.
You should grow watermelon.
I eat shit.
Seeds.
They're good for you.
You grew this too?
I know this here, right? I ain't trying to be funny,
I
right?
got one that's gonna come. It's called Moon and Stars.
I'm talking about you, her, and that baby gonna have probably have the most radiant skin of anybody on earth. All these fruit and vegetables you niggas eat. Ain't no way in the world nigga come out with no bad skin. Ain't that what a fruit and vegetable do? Then all that soluble water in them.
Juices and berries.
Juices and berries. I ain't being, but I'm dead serious. That nigga just put out a whole. That nigga ain't got nothing. I ain't seen nothing but fruits and vegetables since he sat down right.
I mean, I've been on a binge lately now. Don't get it twisted, man. I've been.
You been now tell he been on the bend on them sweets.
Every 2 bites. Yeah, she gave me an ultimatum.
That nigga say he go on a bend on sweets like niggas do on crack.
I got a vanilla cake waiting for me at the house, boy.
You ain't bring nothing for
Keep that
nobody.
away from me. Stop.
Oh boy, I will leave y'all alone, man. I got to finish this. I got to get away from y'all. Y'all crazy. So when we look at when he say he had bread enough to the fool, that man sent people out with that word to feed you. He began to consider, I need to go back and get that. Listen to this thing he say. I will arise and go to my father and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against Shamahim, and before thee I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. Now swing over here to Luke 16. Actually, Luke 18 and 9. Look at the attitude of the man. Look at the attitude the man had. And after that, Jeremiah chapter 3 by verse 10. This man done repented. He said, he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee, the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, Elohim, I thank thee that I'm not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, and adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in a week, and I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican is standing afar off would not lift up so much as his eyes unto Shamahim, but smote his breast, saying, Elohim, be merciful to me, a sinner. This is what this younger son just did. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalts himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Now look at James 5 and 9. And after that, John 10 and, what that is? Is it 10 that I want? Yeah, 10 and 15. That's some strong watermelon.
Why, you smell it?
Yeah.
It was a
That's
good
not a
one.
bad thing.
No, it was a very, I inspected before I picked.
4 and 9, my apologies. Make it 8. Draw nigh to Elohim. This is what the younger son doing. He will draw nigh to you, and we gonna see his father come and do the same thing. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. That's what the younger son has done. Be afflicted, was he not afflicted? And mourn, and he was mourning. And weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahuwah, and he shall lift you up. Remember how we read last night? He said, if a man stumble, he could make him stand up. You know what I'm saying? The meaning, I can make you upright. I can take a man who's been falling in sin, and I can stand him upright and make him blameless and make him perfect before me. You know what I'm saying? That's what his word will do. The Torah of Yahuwah is perfect, converting the soul. It can make you complete, and it can bring you back. But the mind, like he said, he came to his mind. His mind got right. Your mind got to get right. What was that? What did I say now? John 10 and 15. He said, as the Father know me, even so I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold that I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. So this is how we look at that younger son being Ephraim or Joseph. That's what that's referring to. That younger son got to be brought back because Yehuda ain't never left. Remember, we know Zechariah 12 and 7 say, here come the tents of Yehuda first. Come on back to Luke 15. Verse 19. Or verse 20, and he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against Shammahim in thy sight. I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Titus chapter 3. He said when the father seen him, he had compassion on him. When he saw him, he kissed him. But all that son is saying is, I'm not worthy to be called your son. That humility, all this is going back to what we read, right? I said, I dwell with him in the high and lofty place, right? Him that's of a humble and contrite spirit. Him that is, who could, like I said, a humble and contrite heart, Yahuwah would not despise. The sacrifices of a broken heart, Yahuwah would not despise. Those who are broken hearted of a crushed spirit, Yahuwah will receive. He won't despise that. That man was broken. Titus 3:3. He said, for we ourselves were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy and hateful and hating one another. But after the kindness and love of Elohim, our Savior, toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy as he saved us by the washing of regeneration and the renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior, that being justified by his favor, we should be made heirs according to the hope of eternal life. That's what you just seen. What works did the younger son do? All he did was take his substance and go sin. But they say, some of y'all were also sometimes disobedient. So sometimes you have to sit back and remember that. Even when people who are outside the way, even when some who in the way, and they get outside of it a little bit. Because you know that Luke 15 talk about there was 100 sheep, one got outside, he went and got it. You have to sit back and remember that. It's some people who were with us, boy, they got outside the way, nigga went, and there was some of them, it didn't even enter my mind to go holler at. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't going to get that nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get that nigga. Get him for what? You know what I'm saying? Luke 15 again. That's just something to remember, though. You got to remember that. That's where that mercy and compassion come in at. Because he's seen this sinner returning, and all he thought to have compassion on him. So if you see somebody who had been with us and they done outside the way and they trying to come back, you supposed to receive them in that same fashion. That might embolden them to stay in it this time. Because if it's in their mind to return, who put it in their mind to return? Do you know what I'm saying? If it ain't in their mind to return, they ain't coming back. Where we at? 21. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against Shammahim and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. What's that best robe, gentlemen? Say, put on the best robe. You want to see the best robe?
Joseph coat, Esau coat.
You can use that one there.
Joseph's clothes.
Huh?
Joseph coat.
He said the best robe, not a coat. He said put the best robe on. No, it's a big difference. Listen,
The shepherd.
Priestly garment.
you use that one there.
I know in the Shiite God, they put the robe on him.
The one that Mordecai had?
There you go.
Mm.
Book of Esther.
You know it. You know it.
And then get Job 23. The reason why they said because the reason why we specified that priestly robe is not wrong either. That's what I was looking for. Because when you look at that priestly robe, it's actually going on what we're looking at this robe with Mordecai on, because what he said his blood made us, kings and priests. So you put that priestly robe on, it's showing that you joined to him. Yeah, indeed. And I caught that. I was just going to see it. That probably would help them out. That's what we're going to tell
No,
them.
I knew it was Mordecai. I wanted to make sure. Because, I be trying.
Put it there, Esther 11. 10. Thank you, sir. 8 is what it wants. 8 and 14. Say, so the post that rode upon mules and camels went out being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel, blue and white, and with a great crown of gold and a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. And we know from Luke 23 what they did. They put a purple robe on the master, right? So look at Job 23. Tizzy. Make sure that's what I want. This is in my head. I ain't used to this book. It's not in the place where I thought it'd be. Maybe I'm off a chapter. Dang, man. Because he gonna sit back, Job gonna tell you that righteousness covered me as a robe. It was on me as a didium, and I am in the wrong place. Make that fat, but we got to go. I ain't got time to be flipping no pages. $29. Oh, wrong. Yeah, it is. That's why it wasn't where I thought it was gonna be. 29 and 13. Listen what this man say right here. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. Well, the widow's heart is who?
That's right.
She sung for joy, he rose from the dead. He said the blessing of him that was ready to die. Blessing of him that ready to die is the Ruach. Again, I ain't get to it today. Most I wouldn't get. That's why he say death is in me. But Paul say, but life worketh in you. Cause he said the blessing, they don't even realize as hard as depression is, that's the blessing of Yah, cause that's the blessing of him that was ready to perish. That mean if you suffering that mean the power of Elohim rest on you. Nigga don't consider that because most people don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Cause believe you me, boy, ain't nobody volunteering for that. Save the master. You know what I'm saying? He said, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. My judgment was a robe and a didium. What is your judgment? He said he seen the Kadeshim had on what? Fine linen, clean and white. Had on white robes. And palms too, didn't it? Revelation said. He said, when he said back, he said, that's my judgment. My judgment was a robe and a didium. Let me see what that didium is. Is somebody smoking tobacco outside? While I was walking the other day, boy, I'm like, boy, these niggas out here smoking loud marijuana too, boy. With no cares. I remember them days.
Yes, we do.
All I can think about sometimes is the word for didium. It's a turban or a headdress. So we know what's on that turban, right?
A meter.
You know what I'm saying? We know what's on it though. Kadesh to Yahuwah. Name in the forehead. Sign, the seal, the mark. Oh, that's right, Revelation says. So when you look at, put the best robe on him, you know they put the mitre on him. Kadesh to Yahuwah. Got that robe on him. You a king now by the blood of the Lamb. I done made you a son now. Because he said, he that overcometh shall become a son and inherit all things. He came back to inherit all things. How did he come back and inherit all things? Got to repent. Ain't none of us start off as no son. We hoping to end as one though. That's the thing that we have to remember. Ain't nobody on this planet start off as no son of Elohim. Ain't but one start off like that. You know what I'm saying? So that means we didn't start as one, we looking to end as one.
Could we say two?
Well, you can say, but I'm talking about in the truest sense of the word, only one. Because Abba only begot one. You know what I'm saying? So only one started off truly as the son of Elohim. That's Yahushua. Everybody else was just replicates of him. Adam was just a replicate of him. But the master made him. You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
What that is, 7 and 14. Make it 12. And saying, so be it. Baruch and esteem and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto Elohim. Matter of fact, make it 9. That's what we were looking for. After this beheld I lo a great multitude which no man could number of all nations, kindreds, and people and tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. You know what I'm talking about? They say my righteousness is his robe. He seen his son coming back from to repent. He say, put that robe on him. White robes. So we know what that right robe is. Fine linen, clean and right. That's the righteousness of the saints. What's the righteousness of Yahuwah? Abraham believed in Yah and he counted it to him for righteousness. Say the just live by what? Their faith. The blameless or the upright gonna live by their belief in the master. Therefore they shun sin, disobedience, and every false way. And cried with a loud voice saying, just drop down to verse 14 because we got this. And he said unto them, Sir, thou know, well make it 13. And one of the elders answered saying unto me, what are these which are arrayed in white robes and whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou know. And he said to me, these are they which came out of great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of Elohim and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sit on the throne shall dwell among them. In his temple, he saying the Lamb, Yahuwah Elohim and the Lamb are the temple of it. They dwell in the Father and in the Son. But you notice how he say great tribulation. Acts 14:22 say, continue thou in the faith, right? Because we through much tribulation must receive the kingdom of Shamahim. There's a lot of trouble and affliction that come along with this. And niggas don't want it. That's why he say, by and by, they joyful. But when persecution and tribulation arise because of the word, they are offended. Everybody is not willing to go, because what we just said, the blessing of him that was ready to perish was upon me. So if the blessing of him that's ready to perish, that means you got to die and you got to suffer. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of brothers drop a lot of word, but not many of them tell you about what you might have to take that on, sir. Niggas don't want to hear that. Luke 20:15.
But then if you don't do it, you don't find the reward at the latter end worth it either.
Now that's why they quit. Most would rather let me engage my flesh and get the reward than to disengage my flesh and suffer in the flesh and suffer all things that life may have to offer and get the reward. Verse 23, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it and let us eat and be merry. The master was a fatted calf. Sacrifice for him. Because what did he say got that robe white? The blood. Listen what he say. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. That's what we sit back and look at. We touched that a little bit last night, right? We were dead in trespasses and sins, but now we've been quickened and made alive by the master. That's why he said the flesh profiteth nothing. It's the ruach that quickened. The words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. So you sit back and look at it. We were all dead. All dead. The word is what made you alive. He said, quicken me through thy precepts. So we have to sit back and we got to look at that. This is how the Father look at us when we come back. You were dead, now you alive. That's why he said that they should no longer live their rest of the time in their flesh to live. He said from the power of Hashatan to the power of Elohim, from darkness to light, to be sanctified by the faith that's in me for the remission of sins.
That's why he said all else come short of sin. Everybody been dead. Ain't nobody who ever lived can raise their hand up and say, I've been alive the whole time I've been here. He said, the soul that sinned, it shall die. And all souls are mine. So death has been working in us because we didn't have life in us to begin with. So he's looking for us to come back. He had life and left it. But he returned unto it. And when he returned, that's all that is right there. That's Ezekiel 18. Y'all know that, right? He said, I have no pleasure in the death of him that, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked return from his evil ways. If that wicked man did this and did this and did that, and then he turn around and walk in judgment and uprightness, he say, his sins I will remember no more. But for the righteousness which he have done, I will remember. The Father didn't remember none of that stuff what that man did when he left.
May I have your attention?
He didn't remember none of it.
May I have your attention, please?
He said, but if the righteous man trust in his righteousness and then go commit sin, he said all that righteousness he did, I don't remember none of that. He said the iniquity which he committed, that he shall die. So when he say trust in his righteousness, bro, that means you've been doing right, and you feel like since you've been doing right, I can go commit this sin, and y'all won't kill me for it. And y'all say you got another thing coming. Because now you willfully sin. Ain't no more sacrifice for sin for you, buddy. And you trust that you could go do this too. You believe I can go lay with that boy. I got 3 years of righteousness stored up. I'm due a sin. That's how niggas think though. Sadly, that's how niggas think. Niggas think that they been doing good for a little minute. I can go sin. Y'all forget it for it. Yeah, he gonna forgive y'all, right? You can see that's a bad mind. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no way to think. So when he said, right, now his eldest son was in the field, he drew nigh to the house, heard the music and dancing, called one of his servants, asked what he wanted these things meat, and then you know all the rest. He told him his brother had done came back. He said, hey son, you have been with me everything. Everything I got is yours. He said, but your brother which was dead is now alive, and your brother which is lost is found. You were always with me. That's why he said Yehuda been faithful. The son was always with him, but I need you to get them to come on back. And when I get him to come on back, I give him that same robe that you got. I give him them same shoes you got, that same ring you got, that same fatted calf you had. I do all that. He said, you don't make merry for my friends. Make merry for your friends for what?
Y'all been here with me the whole time, never departed. But we got to make merry for those who left and came back, because they dead, but now they alive. Hallelujah for Yahushua.